we oftentimes look to cultivate a heart of peace, but we do it by looking at all of the things that are causing us a lack of peace. And we start, it's like, if only like the news would change and they wouldn't report on all the differences and challenges and the polarization that's going on in the world, I could have peace. If only like my friends would think like me. If only my parents would stop, you know, having these opinions that about my life and about what I should be doing, then peace would be something that could be cultivated. And that book begins to peel back a little bit of the layers, which give us the ability to actually address what you're asking, which is how do you cultivate a heart of peace? And so the first thing really is to actually identify what it is that you actually are trying to achieve. Because I think you have to actually look at what comes first in that process. Like if you want to create a utopian society where peace is for everyone, right? Where do you begin? I think you begin cultivating your own heart of peace. And so when you peel like that, the first step to actually cultivating a heart is actually looking in the right place. And stop looking everywhere else. Stop looking at all the things that like are actually stealing your peace, and actually begin to do the things that allow you to cultivate a heart at peace. And one of those things, and so you're listening to the podcast or this video, so you're asking for advice. So I'm going to give this to you, and you can take it if you want it. You can leave it. You can drop it. You know, you don't have to run with this, but I'm going to tell you what I did on this first thing. The first thing I did was I stopped using social media. Why? Because I found that when I allowed the world just free access to give me opinions, to give me content, to give me all of these views of life in what's really not even a real context. It's in a, you know, however you want to paint the world to me in social media. So you can paint it however you want with a picture of words. But I found myself being in more contention with the world as I would read posts about different political stances on different thoughts around vaccine, non-vaccine, masks, no mask. You know, how did we politically handle, you know, conflict in Afghanistan? It's like all of those opinions. It was just like felt like I was just constantly in contention with everything in the world around me. And I would gravitate towards, right, certain spaces that would think like me, act like me, talk like me, to like cultivate this idea of peace. But that's not real peace. That's just putting yourself in a bubble, like a safety bubble, and just getting in like a think tank, and just everyone thinks like you, everyone like, or groupthink, everyone thinks like you, everyone acts like you, everyone talks like you, but then you just isolate yourself from the rest of the world, which it's artificial peace. That's not real. It's fake. You're not really at peace. You're just numbing yourself to what's out there in the world. And I did that by like, you know, hiding certain people's comments and just looking at certain things. And I just found that in order for me to actually be able to wade through it all, I just needed to shut it all out first. Because I realized that I wasn't at peace, because whenever I ran into something that was conflicting to me, I became conflicted. And it was like I couldn't live that way. I couldn't live conflicted with the world, with everything going on around me. So first thing I did was I started to identify the things that were disrupting peace in my world. And I began to turn that noise down a little bit. You're never gonna be able to turn it all the way down, but I turned it down a little bit. And then I began the process of reestablishing what it meant to be at peace. So I began to cultivate it by spending time in prayer, spending time reading the Bible in the Word of God, spending time in worship. And you go, all right, I thought you were about to give me some mind-blowing like ways to cultivate peace. But my pastor, Pastor Kent Munsey, says, right, the largest degree of difficulty is simplicity, right? It's like some of the most hardest things, the most difficult things, it's just actually simple. It's like he says, what's the best way to lose weight, right? It's not really complex. It's just exercise and diet. And you're like, but if someone just told you exercise and diet, lose weight, it's like, I'm not going to sign up for your $39.99 a month fitness plan if all you're going to tell me is exercise and diet. But I think it's the same way when you start saying, how do you cultivate peace? It's like, it may be basic, but it's like, are you actually spending time with the Creator? And that's how you cultivate a heart at peace, is you begin to cultivate a space where the Creator of your heart is able to work on who you are and reestablish your identity as His son and as His daughter. And so now, as you begin to allow Him to heal the places of your heart, the places that, maybe are at war with the world, are at war with other people's opinions, are at war with people that maybe don't think, act, talk, behave, live the way you want them to live, and are at war with a world that seems to be at conflict with you, and you've given access and intimacy to the things that create conflict, and now it's creating a heart at conflict and not at peace because you've given intimacy to it. You've spent time with it. You've invested into it. But you stopped actually investing in creating intimacy with the one who said, peace I give to you, peace I leave you, and can birth peace and can breathe peace and can give peace to a heart in the middle of a crazy world. You can understand why we don't have hearts at peace, because if you go, where are you more intimate? What do you give more access to the deep recesses of your heart is probably going to dictate what comes out in the midst of a world that is troubled. And so I found that the way as I cultivate is just spend time with Him. Spend time with God. Fall in love with just being in His presence and asking God, hey, where are some places in my heart that it's like, if I hear someone with a different opinion, or I experience something that knocks me off my axis in my day, bad news or conflict. What is it in here that disrupts my whole aspect of being at peace in this world? It's like, I don't want that. I want to be at peace. And so when that person cuts me off in traffic, or when that person's like, flipping you off and like getting angry at you, and just a normal, like, it's like, why do I react the same way back instead of being like, I want to bring the peace that God has given me to that situation. I may not agree with you, but I can be at peace with you because I'm at peace with who God is and who He's called me to be. And it's a little complex in some of the stuff, and probably break down a little bit more of it as we go. But you ask me how I cultivate it, that's how I cultivate it. I make sure that I'm not giving access in intimate ways to things that want to cultivate chaos and war in my heart. And I want to give access back to the one who wants to cultivate peace in me, so that that's who I can bring to the world around me.
Thank you for watching this video. If you want more content, subscribe over here and watch the next video over there. God bless you.